What's up guys, it's OUHSSAINE Said here. As I promised you in the last video, today we're going to talk about Relux Express and we are going to explain the interface of the software. So if you are a beginner and you haven't watched the first video yet, I highly recommend that you watch it because it's going to help you a lot. So now, let's get started. Actually, Relux Express is made for very simple projects like we will see. So let's start our project. You enter the project number, let's say 23, object, office lighting for example, installation, let's say it's in the 3rd floor, then the customer, you, my followers. Processed by me, OUHSSAINE Said. Project description, you can add a description here. And then next. Next you have the room name, you can call it office. Description, you can add a picture and a text. Room type, it's either a rectangle or a L-shaped room, but I recommend you to use this Relux Express only for rectangles, because L-shaped, it's not well suited for this kind of simple projects. So you add the dimensions, 6, let's make it for example 7 by 3 or maybe by 4. The height, I made it like 2.5. Height of the reference plane, let's make it 0.8. Offset to the wall 0.5, okay, and then additional measuring surfaces like walls and ceilings, like you see them here. If you uncheck this, they disappear. Like, let's leave them like this right now. And then here is the materials used for floor. 20 the reflection is 20%, 70 for the ceiling. It's the same thing in Dialogues. These are the standards. These are the standard reflections. You can also go and change these reflections. You can play with a lot of parameters here. You can also add some other reflections like these ones here. But then let's not talk about this right now. Okay. And then there is the location. We don't need this right now because we're not gonna perform any daylight calculations, but you can go and see what you have exactly inside here. We don't need that right now. North angle. And then you have nominal values. Actually, these nominal values is the part where you tell Relux what kind of room this project is. So we're gonna go to edit values here, and we're gonna go to offices. Office, we're gonna choose writing, typing, or maybe we're gonna choose conference and meeting rooms. Enter. It's exactly the same thing in Dialogues. Room planning is almost, the equivalent of Relux Express. So when you click on it, you are taken here, and space here is where you tell the software what project is this. So go to offices and applications. Same thing, conference and meeting rooms, and then press enter and you are inside Dialogues. It's exactly the same thing in Relux here. So we are in the conference and meeting rooms, and here are the requirements, 500 looks, and then next. This page here is for the product selection. It asks us to choose what luminaires we need, and we are here in the local tab. It's actually for the Relux demo luminaires. And yeah, you can go and check them one by one to know what you have here. You can also go online and find the catalogs of Relux partners. If you choose this first one, you have their luminaires here. Same thing with the others, like plugins, etc. Individual luminaires. We'll talk about this later. This one actually is, you will use this one in case the luminaire you're using does not belong to a Relux partner. You can go back to local here and use a Relux luminaire. Let's add this one, add. If you go to selected, it is here. And these are the informations. This is the data sheet of the luminaire we have selected. We can show a lot of information here, but then a photo is always better to see what luminaire is selected. You can also go back to here, local, and go to recessed, for example, luminaires, and let's add this panel, and then OK. And here it is EasyLux, which is like a tool inside Relux that performs automatically the calculations depending on the required lighting level. Here we need 500 lux, so it performs the lighting calculations in a way that it is always looking for the needed lighting level. And here it used 3x2. Let's make it, and it's very high. We only need 500 and we have 844. Let's make it only 2, or in 590. The uniformity is good, 0.65, because the uniformity we needs to be over 0.60. If we are happy with this, we can accept, but then we can also go and try the other one to see which one is better. You can add as many as you want and then try to find the right one, but then in this case we have 3x2. Let's make it 2x2 here. It's less than the required lighting level, so let's make it 3. It's a little bit higher. Let's go back to the other one. Let's make it 2x2. This one looks okay. So for example, I want this one. You can also go to 2D view here. Once inside Relux, we are taken to this overview page here that we can see all that, and the results here are all green because the standard is fulfilled, like when it comes to the lighting level, to the uniformity, etc. And then here we have this. This is our room. These are the false colors. These are the distances. It's a 4x7 room. General height of the luminaire plane, 2 maintenance factor, total luminous flux, total power per area, etc. All these informations. You have also the evaluation area 1, user profile, offices, conference and meeting rooms. And then you have the lighting level 590 lux, and it's okay because it's more than 500. Then cylindrical lighting, the uniformity 0.65 and the required uniformity is only 0.60. And then UGR position, and also the major surfaces here, the ceiling and the walls, and here are the lighting levels on these surfaces, the uniformities, and here is the used luminaire. You can also go to right click, go to properties, and you can hide or show more elements. Little example, product picture, you have it right now. You can go and hide it again. You can also go to the ISO lines. You can change this color legend here. And say for example we have the minimum, it's 383. Let's say the maximum, for example here, the maximum is 792, and then we can apply this. These colors change and they are more accurate right now. For us to discover the interface of the software, I will start with window. If you press on standard, you have a wide screen, you have a lot of space to work, and then the output and the results are here, but just need to hover over them. Same thing for project properties and information. Classic, like it changes a little bit, but take a look at these ones here. They change each time we choose a different model. Like extended, these ones are checked, this one is unchecked, etc, etc. But then I think, well, in my case I prefer extended because I see everything. If you have a smaller like screen, you can use standard and you have all these elements that are hidden, and once you need them you can just go over them, you hover over them, and then you have everything. But I will go and use extended. You also have like switch window. You can switch windows here, single view, cascaded windows, vertically for example, horizontally, etc, etc. But I will go to my single view. With this said, I will go to start. I press on the floor plan, and here is the floor plan of our project. 3D. This is how it looks. These arrows are actually the go to luminaire, the aiming arrows of the lights of the luminaires. Let's go back to the start. Dynamic planning. Okay. Dynamic planning actually is a real-time calculation tool, but then we don't need this one right now. Let's just like go to dynamic planning and quit. Then we have actually easy looks that we have passed through actually to get here. And it is asking us to sorry, and it is asking us to delete the existing luminaires to perform a new calculation. But I mean, it's actually the one we've passed through before, so no, we're not gonna do this. And then there is move. If we go to field here, to the project, go to field, select a luminaire, the one here. When you select it, we have the possibility to move it because we are in the move tool here. We can move it like this, but then I will press Ctrl Z, go back to this position, and then I will also go back to luminaire to hide this, and then we also have rotate. We can rotate these luminaires like this. You can also rotate it this way. Depends on what you need exactly on your project, but like let's Ctrl Z this now. And then there is scale, but we cannot scale luminaires. Let's go and insert a prism, for example. Let's go to 2D view by pressing F2 like this, and then press enter. Let's go back to start. Scale, we can scale this object. We click on it, then you can scale it by pressing this point here and then go into this direction, or maybe to this direction. You can also, if you wanna, like same thing in the y-axis, and for both at the same time you can just stretch it like this. Okay, we can go to 3D view. We can also stretch it, like scale it in the z-axis. Okay, and then you have the aim tool here. Let's go to field again. It's actually for luminaires. Luminaire, this one here is selected. We can aim it. Actually, instead of rotating it to find the right angle, the tool here, aim, makes your life easier. Like you choose the point where you need to aim it, and then you click on it and it goes there. See, if you want, for example, this light to go there, just press where you want it, you know. And then you have rotate around axis. You can rotate around the axis you want. And then you have delete vertex. Let's go to 2D here, for example. Delete vertex, for example, for this prism, you need to delete a vertex. And a vertex is like a point here. Just delete it like this. And the new shape is like that. You can also insert a vertex, like here. There's a point inserted. Then you can go to move and click on the point, and then you can move it like this. And then there is measuring distance. You can measure a distance like this, you know, and press enter, and here's the distance. A great feature actually with this tape in Relux is that you can measure a lot of segments at once. For example, you need this distance. Press enter, and it says like it gives you every segment and the distance of that segment, which is a great tool actually. And enter, and then you can also measure angles. For example, you want to know this angle here, it's like that. And then these elements are for objects. And then there is the grid snap. If you notice, let's go for example measure distance. If I want to start from here, for example, in the middle, I cannot, because it only steps like 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters, like you can see it here. 50, 50, 50. Let's make it, for example, 20. It will step like 20, 20, 20, 20, like this, you know. And it's the same thing in the y-axis and in the z-axis. If you want them to be like different, you can uncheck this one and make them and choose like the values you want here, for example, and it will go 20 this direction and only 10 in this direction. You can also uncheck, let's go back to start, uncheck this grid snap, and you will be able, for example, to start your measuring or your drawing from any like point you want. But then it's good because it helps a lot, even though it can disturb sometimes. And then there is this center and grid, because right now if you want to start measure a distance, or maybe if you want to insert an object, it it only starts in the corners, you know. Let's make it 0.5 like in the beginning. Only starts in the corners. If we press center and grid, it will only start in the middle of these grids. And then there is cut snap. We cannot use it right now because it's grayed out, because we don't have any cut plan. Then there is project data and location. These are the informations we have entered in the beginning. And then we have scene selection, office. And then there is edit if you want to edit your project. There is duplicate if you want to duplicate your room. Check if you want to check if there is any problem. It says it's okay. There's enumerate, the efficiency of artificial and daylight. We'll see this more in detail. Then there is product here. You can add luminaires as well as you can add like sensors, but we will talk more in detail about this in the future. Insert. These are the elements you can insert in your project. Scenes. You can add interior rectangular scenes, L-shaped, semicircular, shade roof, then polygon. You can also add a floor. Then you can add exterior scenes, rectangle, polygon, roof, tunnel. But then tunnel is not possible because you need to pay for it. You need to have the license. Then you can add base objects, cuboid, cylinder, prism, etc., etc. And then there is body of revolution, which is a very powerful tool actually. And then you can add rectangular faces, circle, and polygon. Room objects, windows and doors. Exterior objects, road, football field, tennis field, racetrack. Measuring objects, measure objects, observers, task areas, emergency areas, exterior roads, evaluation areas. We'll talk more in detail about every one of them. And then from CAD plan, it's like you can build from a CAD plan that we'll see in the future. It's very, very interesting. And then you can import a CAD plan. You can import an image like as a plan. Then you can also add a geolocation. And then in this part, it's actually for the 3D objects. You can load them from ReluxNet, or if you have your own 3D objects, you can just import them. Then if you go to load from ReluxNet, you have like a lot of realistic 3D objects that are really like interesting to use in your projects. Like let's take for example these cars here. They are very realistic and yeah, I mean, they are like really nice. You can add them to your projects. And then the materials, you can add a lot of materials as well as you can create yours. And then there is animation. You can actually create animations of your projects, which is a very good thing to have. Then calculation, it's here that you perform your calculations. If you go to Calculation Manager, you can perform daylight calculations, artificial light, daylight, like both emergency lighting, sensors, solar altitude graph, ray tracing calculation. And these are like a lot of parameters that you can play with for your calculations. Cancel. But in this case, if you go to calculate, it's only gonna calculate the artificial light because there is no doors, no windows, nothing. And then view, actually in this one, like let's like press F3 to go to the 3D view. This zoom all here, you zoom to all the project, and then here zoom to selection. Let's select for example this object, and let's go to zoom to selection. We like have this object just in front of us, and then move view. Like we are now in the rotate, like you can rotate your project like this, but then if you select zoom here, if you wanna rotate your project, you cannot. You can only like zoom in or out. You cannot rotate it. And then there is rectangular selection. You cannot like rotate your project. You will also be selecting when you want to do the same thing, like to rotate, you will select instead. And then there is the raster. It's this one here. You can hide it or show it. There's also the CAD plan and the background image if you have them in your project. Let's go back to our rotate here. And then there is the north angle. It's here. You can hide it or show it. Let's hide it. And then these are the calculation parameters. Luminance. You have here the E cylindrical, E horizontal, etc., etc. But let's just have this one, luminance. You have the calculation grid. Here's how it looks. You have pseudo colors. We need to run the calculations first to see these ones. So let's go and run the calculation. Okay, let's go back now to view. Let's go to F3. Here are the pseudo colors, ISO lines here on these surfaces, and then threshold line. Okay, let's uncheck that. Let's go to standard. These are the views actually: right, left, front, rear, top, bottom, for example. And then we have the wireframe, for the room. Then you have exterior view. Let's hide this one. Here is the exterior view. And then let's uncheck this one. You can also save views. You can save this one. You can save, for example, this one and this one. And you can display them here. This is the first view, second, and then the third. You can have a fixed view here. You cannot move the project anymore, but let's uncheck it. You can also have a parallel perspective, and it looks something like that. The window, we have already seen that. Go to luminaire. We have these arrows, and they are the aiming arrow where the light goes. We have the LDC, and then we have the C planes, and they are like this. Then you have also the symbol, but you cannot see it here. You will only see it in the documentation. And then, of course, results. Overview, we've seen it. 3D luminance, here's how it looks. 3D pseudo colors. 3D mountain plot. It's a little bit crazy now because of the luminaire I've rotated. And then cable, ISO lines, and pseudo colors.